Hello, I'm the Necro Critic. As an anime fan, I try to distance myself from the norm. By that, I mean I have a very keen interest in obscure anime. Relatively unknown, pure, and untainted by the horror that is the fanbase. Now, while I admit that I still enjoy some of the more popular series like Death Note, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Rurouni Kenshin, I take pride in watching such unknowns as Kaiba, Battle Athletes, and Sketchbook Full Colors. So today, I'd like to talk about one of, if not the, most obscure anime out there. A little OVA simply known as Call Me Tonight. How obscure is it, you ask? Let's put it this way. It was only released on cassette. In Japan.
It starts off with a montage of phone calls coming into a phone sex company.
By the way, no. This is not a hentai. I want to get that out of the way right now, because the further we are, the harder it is to believe.
We cut to Natsumi Rumi, the head of the company, at home getting a call from them. They're telling her to contact a client named Sugiura Ryo, who complains about having strange problems while masturbating.
Huh. I had no idea phone sex lines doubled as sexual therapy hotlines. I mean, could you imagine calling up a sex hotline and getting Dr. Ruth? Ugh. There's an image I didn't need.
We then cut to a guy bopping his baloney when weird shit starts happening. He then gets a phone call from Rumi in the middle of his now destroyed room.
I've heard of a violent sex drive before, but that's a little ridiculous.
So they set up a date for that night so they can discuss his date with Rosie Palms. She shows up and... Oh my god!
Okay, I'm sorry, but in case it wasn't already obvious, I need to make something abundantly clear here.
80s, 1980s, this was made in 86. 80s, 1980s, fashion trends that make us sick. Silly hairdos, sweatbands, stretch pants, frightening to look at, yes it is.
So she starts talking to him about how normal it is to have awkward appointments with Dr. Jackoff, until he shows her the torn shirts beneath his coat. Apparently, that's one of the unfortunate results of him playing one-man tug-of-war. So she tries another method of fixing his problem, by trying to get him off in public.
I think whoever made this wasn't aware that there's a difference between a phone sex operator and a call girl.
However, this proves too much for him and gives him a bad nosebleed.
Allow me to explain. In anime, whenever someone gets horny, typically a man, it's often visualized by them having a nosebleed. Okay, I think they might be overdoing it a bit here.
Rumi tries to see if he's okay when he... Surprise! He's a tentacle monster!
Daddy's some fucked up shit.
In a panic, Rumi grabs him and bolts out of the restaurant.
No, you idiot! You're supposed to run away from the tentacle monster, not lead him on. Don't you know that tentacle rape is the leading cause of death in girls your age? Oh, right. This isn't a hentai.
After dragging him into a theater, she confronts him about what happened. He tells her that he contacted her because he couldn't talk to anyone else about it.
To be fair, I don't think doctors can prescribe anything for tentacle monsteritis.
However, a rape scene shows up on screen, and this sets him off. You've gotta love how she just nonchalantly walks away from him like it's no big deal. So she deduces that he turns into the monster whenever he's aroused.
No! Really? What was your first guess?
She tries to figure out a way to help him out, so she takes him to a love hotel.
What, is she gonna fuck the monster out of him?
No, she's going to turn him on again. Apparently, she believes that if she gets him used to sexual situations, he can learn to control his urges.
That, or he'll become so jaded that he'll never get it up again. Either way, there are fewer casualties.
Which brings us to perhaps the best montage ever made, where she's taking him around town and using various methods of turning him on, all set to cheery 80s J-pop. Meanwhile, Maki and Hayata, two guys from earlier at the restaurant, decide to follow them and take pictures. However, they get stopped by their gang.
Because all suspicious characters in the 80s have to be a member of some kind of gang,